Do legends tell us about the past? Are they meant to frighten us? Meant to take advantage of what we fear? Or do some hold some trace of truth? Passed down so we never forget. We question, we search, we discover. We discover portals to the past.
Shit just went off.
What?
Bell's going off.
Bell's going off. Capture it. Kill that. Kill that. Something's disturbing the electric field.
Was it you?
No, I wasn't near it.
I moved and it started going off.
Do that again.
Don't go near him.
Yeah, don't go near me. Just did that, do it again. Shh, please.
Is there someone here? You can come up to us.
Did you guys whisper? No.
Mark.
Hey guys, and welcome to Paranormal Soapbox. It is Justin Brown, the founder and lead investigator of Interface Death, a hopefully obsessed individual with the paranormal, a very open-minded yet skeptical investigator, someone who likes to figure things out, likes to know how things work, likes to do things in the most purest yet objective way. I really wanted to start this show to try to educate and try to express myself concerning things that I have issues with, things that I have problems with, things I care deeply about regarding the paranormal. So I'm glad that you're here with me. I appreciate it very much that you watch and care about what I have to say on my blog page. And the trailer you just watched is our very first trailer to our first episode of season 5 of our YouTube channel on Interface Death over at youtube.com. It's going to be an exciting year for Interface Death. Lots of cool videos being released, lots of cool locations, some locations we've been to for years, some we've never been to. It's going to be great, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Just head over to Interface Death on YouTube and subscribe if you haven't, and check us out at interfacedeath.net. Subscribe to that mailing list as well. So today's topic is thermal cameras. Raise your hand or type 1 in the comment if you have seen a thermal camera used on a ghost hunting show or a paranormal investigation, and type 2 if you've used one on an investigation or a ghost hunt. I am very, very interested in knowing all those who have. Lonnie Toner says, I love watching those YouTube videos. I like making them for you guys. I love filmmaking. I like making the videos. It's a lot of fun, and it's a really cool way to share our experiences and our research for you guys. I try to make it interesting. What's up, Susan? If you're still watching, I'm glad you're here. Beth Browning, I see Tony Felosi and Terry Willoughby stopped in. Brad Streets is watching. Tyler Mason, Daryl Wisman. If you're still here, thank you very much for hanging out. So, a few of you have put one in the comments, and if you can tell, I got the chat working on the video itself. So, the recorded versions you see on YouTube can see your comments, which is a good thing. So, the reason why I want to talk about thermal cameras is when I started using them and wanted to use them and found interest in them in the paranormal research application, I didn't know exactly how they worked. I thought that if you pointed it in a room or in a haunted area or what have you, you would see a temperature anomaly floating in the air. Okay? And I've learned over the years that that's not the case. It's only designed to read surface temperature. If you've ever seen the IR temp gun, it's the same principle. It shoots infrared light and reflects it off of surfaces and reads and measures the thermal temperature of the surface that you just reflected the infrared beam off of. And a thermal camera is the same, but it images all the temperature variances in the spectrum in which it puts off infrared energy, and it reflects back. So you're actually seeing all the surface temperatures of everything that the infrared light is bouncing off of, and that's how a thermal camera works. Hey Joe, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. Always glad to see you and have you in the chat, chatting it up. So why do you suppose that paranormal researchers wanted to use this? Do you think they're going to detect a ghost or some, a lot of paranormal phenomena is associated with cold spots, and in some occasions even rises in temperature anomalies, but the most common thing is cold spots. Well, it was an idea that somebody had along the way, and more than one obviously, that if there was a cold spot somewhere in the environment, that you would be able to detect it with a thermal camera. And the debate I have with this is going to be short and sweet. You just simply cannot detect a free floating temperature anomaly with a thermal camera, and it's not designed to do that. Just like the last week when we were talking about the SLS cam, it's not designed to bounce infrared light off of invisible massless things, even if they would manifest in some type of physical form, whether it be a mist or something incorporeal like, it's not going to detect it. Now, this is easily tested and testable. The easiest way, what we did was we set up a thermal camera, got a can of compressed air, which I'll show you, like so. And we set up the thermal cam and we just sprayed it right in front of the lens, maybe a foot, 2 foot away, just to see if it would pick up the extreme variance in cold temperature coming from the compressed air, in which we all know that it's very cold. If you spray it on an ambient deviation temperature device, it will drop it dramatically. So we can't see it on the thermal camera. Real quick, Joe says, I am making a video on therms in a few weeks, going to piss people off. Well, it's good that you're trying to educate people. I try not to piss anybody off when I do these videos. I'm sure it will happen. What's up, Jessica? Thanks for joining us. I just want people to know what I've learned and what I think about what I've learned, and why do I think people use these things, why they're misinformed, why they're wrong. But I'm not interested in proving anybody wrong. I'm more interested in, engaging the people that are already interested in what I think and how I research the paranormal. So if you're following me, best bet is if I'm going to piss you off, that would have happened years ago. And if you're a new follower, you may get pissed off watching this video. But that's not my intention. If you just went out and bought, a really expensive thermal camera, do not worry, okay? It can be helpful, just not in the way most people think they are. And Beth Browning says, are you going to like Paranormal State? We're going to be like Paranormal State. No. No. That TV show is canceled, and they that show kind of focused around people's stories, their paranormal stories, and they bring in psychics, and they kind of do this little investigation period, like at a certain late hour of the night, usually around the devil's hour, just to see if they can get activity, and they research them and they kind of tell the story. But I don't really do that. I'm more of in a scientific based paranormal group, but I do put out film productions of the things we do and the historical places we research, so on and so forth. So there's similarities to something like Paranormal State, but it's not like Paranormal State, if that makes sense. So what can we use thermal cameras for? Lots of things. It reads surface temperature. So my favorite application for it is setting up trigger objects. Lots of people do that. Lots of people, that's very, very famous, or a common thing people practice. So why not set up a thermal cam pointed at the objects? Because if they're wanting them to interact with the objects, maybe there'll be some physical contact with them. I've seen videos to where people are shooting in a theater, for example, and the seats are all the same temperature and nothing's out of the ordinary, and all of a sudden they pan over and they see a heat spot on a seat that they didn't see before. Now, if I saw something like that, I would wonder what would cause that, because that's not normally supposed to happen. So that is a really cool way to use the thermal camera, but it has to be on a surface. Like, say if you've seen a door move, okay, and you think that it moved seemingly by itself, scan the door surface with the thermal camera. See if you can see any physical contact with it, any temperature variation, because there will be some type of temperature variation if it was made contact with something physically, in which it had to be, unless it was some other force that wasn't a physical force, and we could get into that on another show. But chances are, if it was physical contact being made with the object that you're looking at with the thermal camera, there will be a temperature variance. And how cool would it be to actually get like a handprint or a footprint on something, or something, similar to that? I think that would be really cool. Josh Vitale said, Deadlight, best MIR ever. It is. And we'll see some Deadlight promos in this live stream. I got the videos loaded in. So if you're interested in that stuff, we'll talk about that promotion a little later. But what do you guys think? Do you think that there's a use for reading surface temperatures in a paranormal investigation? I think there is. But I just think that when you hold them and you're trying to actually look for a ghost in space, in the space in the rooms, I just think that's not going to happen, and I don't know why a lot of paranormal researchers out there use them to do that for. And I don't know if it's because they're really not educated on how it works, or what, or why. I kind of want to try to figure that out, because all this, paranormal research in the pop culture right now is very important that we talk about the things, what are right, what's right, what's wrong, how can we get better. So that's one thing that I want to address. And each week I'm going to address things that are popular in the paranormal field when it comes to television, when it comes to paranormal pop culture. So yay for people who follow that stuff and try to emulate it, because let's face it, I tried to emulate it when I started. There wasn't like this guide that I knew about when I first started. I kind of learned from the TV shows, and then I quickly learned, like, hey, this is wrong. And there's things that bothered me. So here, I wanted to provide more content for this blog page, and I thought it would be a cool thing to do in video format, live video format. So here I am talking about the tools that people use for paranormal research. So what do you guys think? I got 4 viewers right now, it looks like. What do you think about thermal cams and trying to find surface temp anomalies during an investigation? Do you think that's worth your time, or is it worth the time of people to try to gather that type of data for the paranormal field? What do you think? I'm curious. While I'm waiting for responses on that, I'm really excited to announce that this month we're going to a brand new location, guys. We're going to Hartford City, Indiana. I know, I don't know if Joe's been there, if he's still watching, but I know Gavin Kelly has. It's a place called Hartford City Jail, and they have a speakeasy, a building that used to be a speakeasy. I think it's like a antique store or a clothing store or something now. But they have this old speakeasy there, and we're going to investigate the jail and the speakeasy. And the jail is a 19th century, built in the 19th century, like late 1800s, I think 1876 or something like that. I can't remember. But it's a really cool location. If you ever been to that part of the Indiana, it's like in the middle of nowhere. All it is cornfields, and boom, here you got this little town that pops up. And it hasn't changed much over the years. It hasn't really grown. It's the same place the Monroe House, the mysterious Monroe House is. So if you haven't been there, I would highly suggest you go check out Monroe House. They're really busy with booking places up or people up now, so I couldn't get in there this year. But I got into the jail. And really nice people own that. It's the same people that own Randolph County Infirmary in Indiana. So Joe says, could be worth it. Linda Willoughby says, hey, what's up, Linda? I hope you are well. I hope you and Terry are well. Joe says, I did the speakeasy by myself in season 2. I have been to that jail. I got scratched. Okay. We've been to the jail. Pretty cool, Linda says. Yeah, you've been to a few places in Indiana, I've heard. And the Monroe House. Blah, typing skills suck. I hear you, dude. If I'm on my mobile, I can't type worth a crap. I might as well be speaking Chinese. So I was right about Joe being there before. It's increasingly becoming more popular, I think. More people are going to the place to see for themselves. It's, what's going on with it, and it's a very affordable. And it's a cool historical location. So yes, thermal cameras are the topic of the day. Have you ever, now be honest, have you ever misused a thermal camera? I know I have, before I learned that it couldn't do what I thought it did. And I know Derek Schreiner, if he's watching, he was using it, and early on when he was using it, it didn't occur to me that he didn't know that it couldn't pick up like an ambient temperature anomaly in the room. And I asked him if he knew that, and he's just like, oh, it just never occurred to him. And there's a lot of things that we're doing in the paranormal field that we need to think through all the time. We need to constantly think things through, fully understand how things work, and educate ourselves on all of our equipment so we can do things better. These TV shows they're wreaking havoc, okay? They're showing you these full blown, temperature anomalies that look like just somebody walking by. That's because it's somebody walking by. Joe Vitale says, I have used it wrong. Yep. I mean, there's no shame in that. I don't think there's any shame in making mistakes in the paranormal field, because if we knew what we were doing, it wouldn't be called research. Okay, guys? All of the stuff that we're using is not what it was intended for. Okay? So I think it's okay to do that. Michael Hoover says, we use the FLIR 1 attachment for the iPhone, but wish I had a better one. Missy says, hi, Justin, sorry I'm late. Okay, you're grounded, Missy. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, so the FLIR 1's very affordable. I was excited when that came out, because it's like $200, boom, you can stick it on your camera, and now you have a thermal camera on your smart device. And that was really cool when that came out, but you just can't get a freestanding anomaly or an entity to show up on the things. And I want everyone to know. And once they know, they're just like, man, I feel so much. I mean, I felt better knowing that I was, not that educated. Joe says, to get it right, you got to get it wrong. All part of learning. That is usually the common way. Sometimes you're privileged and lucky to know everything there is to know about something out of the gate and not screw it up. But I think it's fun learning, through trial and error. I think it's okay to mess up, guys. I think it's okay to be wrong. And that's a whole nother topic that I've addressed before, especially in my quick tips series on YouTube. If you're interested in some quick tips that I give them paranormal investigation, there is a channel or a list of videos called Quick Tips, and one of them I talk about not being afraid of being wrong, and it's not wrong to really be wrong, especially when it comes in the research field. So hopefully that kind of alleviates people feeling defensive and feeling angry that I'm telling them that their thermal camera is not going to see ghosts. It could probably see some trace of something paranormal. So let's not, get all down into dumps. Who here in the chat has seen something on a thermal imager on a surface that they couldn't explain? I'm interested in knowing about that. And I got about 7 viewers now. Let's see if we can share this around. I know you guys have a couple of you guys have a lot of paranormal friends. What's up with all the 3s? Quit spamming me, you jackass. But I want to know if you've captured an anomaly on a surface, and if you are a paranormal researcher with a bunch of parapeeps on your YouTube or Facebook friends list, rather, share this video, okay? I will talk to you guys. I want to get to know all you guys. I want to, link up. Let's link up and learn. Let's do this. Linda says, unable to admit being wrong is disastrous. It can be and is. Joe says, sorry, cleaning the keyboard. You got to be kidding. You're right. There's nothing wrong with being wrong, but I've seen a lot of wrong being passed off as paranormal. Yeah, it happens all the time. And that's another thing. The cognitive dissonance people suffer, the stress of being presented with evidence that conflicts with your belief of something. There's opposing things. Like the orbs, for example. Like when you learn about that being dust, but your 5 years of orb pictures, that would mean that your 5 years of orb pictures are just you thinking dust and water moisture was orbs. That causes stress for people, and they're not willing to deal with. And that's a problem. And I wish if they were just objective and, take it easy, they would advance. Just look at the scientific field, for example. I mean, it's not too far back that you were burned at the stake or killed or imprisoned, incarcerated for saying that the earth was round and that the earth orbited around the sun. Okay? That was not only blasphemy, that was just grounds for outright stoning you. Okay? You were like a heretic. I mean, be brave. Be educated. Open your mind. Try to, transcend, the basic and common knowledge of the time. We need a lot of people doing that. But we all need to get along, and we all need to not be so harsh and not be so judgmental. But it is hard. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, hey, that stuff don't happen, because it's happened in all aspects of our life, especially the scientific community. Derek Schreiner says, I'm here finally. You've been busy, dude. What, you been mowing again? I bet you've been doing something. I gave up on orb people. That's a good move. That's a real good move. It makes me laugh that you'll see, like, it's usually a woman, and it's like a middle-aged woman, like in her 40s or 50s, and she'll be like an orb analyst or an spirit orb expert, and she'll have all these like magnificent photos of all these multicolored orbs, and they're so beautiful and majestic, and they're all spiritual looking, and she's like, I know what all these orbs mean and what all these colors mean, and look, you can see all these faces in these orbs. And I'm like, oh no, the pareidolia is real. And it's sad. It is very sad. And Brad Street knows about the orbs. He knows about them. But the topic is thermal cameras for today, folks. Thermal cameras do not see ghosts. They can see a trace of one if they touch the surface of something, but that's it. It only reads surface temperature. It's all it does. Okay. If you point it into the room, you're going to see the surface temperature of the walls and all the physical objects in the room. Your body, your instruments that you're using, your cameras, physical things. It's not going to see like a cold spot or anything like that. Crazy orb lady. Derek says he's working on that damn mower. Oh, I figured that was something like that. Keith Age was stabbed by a lady when told her orb was dust. You're joking. Oh, I can't wait to see him next time. I'm going to bring that up. He probably will hate me for doing that. It's like I heard that a lady stabbed you for not believing her orb. That's crazy. Crazy orb lady. I should make a meme, a crazy orb lady meme, and send it to Keith. I'll blame it on Daryl Wisman. I'll say Daryl did it, so I don't die. But nope. Ask him. I will. I'm sure I'll see him at an event somewhere this year. I want to try to get out to Post Town. I might see him there, but I gotta hear about that story. I bet that's funny. Not to diverge, but have you guys seen the possession video? What's the guy's name? Let's see what the guy's name. I've been laughing about this for like 2 days. I want to see if you guys remember it. Have you seen the possession video that I shared and that everybody else has been sharing? What's the guy's name? I want to find out. I want to tell you here in a second. Give me a second. Okay. His name is Bob Larson, and it says Exorcist Bob Larson banishing a demon from this woman will haunt your dreams for weeks. And that's so funny. The way they edited it is hilarious. It's brilliant. It's great. If you have not checked that out, I'm going to go to my timeline and see this. I want to see if I can share this to you guys. I don't know if I can I'll get the URL to it and share it in the comments section. You guys got to watch this if you haven't already. It's funny. You will get a laugh out of it. Bob something, yeah. Brad Street says thermal cams don't only show surface temps, by the way. What are you saying? They don't only... what else do they show? Can you elaborate on that? There it is. Brad, are you saying that it shows, like ambient temperature? Is that what you're saying? Let me know what you're talking about, buddy. Let's see if we can get the URL. I know how to do this. Oops. this is so funny. That's so funny. Okay, let's see if I can get there we go. Oh, I gotta copy the URL. Here it is. That's pretty funny if you haven't seen it. So Brad says it not only registers surface temp. So let's see if Brad can let us know what else it registers. Boom, 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 boom. Doo-doo-doo. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I have thoroughly researched thermal imaging devices, and they all do the same thing. They all read surface temperature. That's all they do. And they are not good for seeing ghosts or like cold spots that are floating in the air. They don't do it. I wish I had a thermal camera right here and I can just show you. I can just spray this duster in front of it and show you that absolutely nothing will show up. But if you have any thoughts or comments about that, feel free to share them, and I will talk about it by with you. So, when you're doing the paranormal research, make sure that you guys do a lot of research on it. I know Joe Vitale does. He does his very best to do that, and I respect him for that. I respect him quite a bit for that. But if you have any other questions, you don't have to wait for me to discuss it, as a topic on the show. If you have any other questions about what I think about certain devices, you can ask me on the show, and I'll be glad to answer any of your guys' questions. I think that would be cool to do for you guys, and I want to chat it up with you guys for real. Thought it was frozen, but if I don't, you're welcome, Joe. You're welcome. I do notice that you tried to do that, and you're very interested in, getting to the, being tech oriented and knowing what's really going on, because that's the whole idea behind paranormal research. We want to know if it's real. We want to know what's going on. We want to do our best to explain it. We want to know if there's life after death. We want to know if this is just some kind of stored phenomenon in the environment that plays over and over like a tape. We want to know what it is. We want to know if there's evil. We want to know if there's angels. We want to know all types and sorts of things. I know I struggle with a lot of this stuff that, that is very possible and even very real in my belief in the paranormal. But I've had very, very profound experiences in my life. Let's see if I can tilt this light up. This light coming through my window is really weird. It's causing a shadow on my backdrop. I don't know if I can fix it. No, I'm not fixing that. But I've had experiences that are so profound that I know that there's something going on. So that's why I'm taking a lot of time. I stand corrected. You are correct. Justin, surface temp I misread. Okay, no problem, Brad. I think that is so cool that we can talk about this and learn. That is freaking, that's worth its weight in gold to know what something does that we're using, out there. We're spending money on this stuff. We're spending all of our time, where we could be spending it with our family. I mean, Brad Streets is a serious paranormal researcher. I mean, he's not doing it because, he thinks he's going to be some TV star. He actually wants to know what's going on. So I'm glad that you're in here, talking to us and watching and learning, because that's why I'm here. I'm trying to learn everything there is to know. And I swear to God, guys, I do nothing but learn every single day. I am a YouTube freak. I read articles like you wouldn't believe. I edit videos. I try to get better at this and try to do different things and experiment with that. I try to come up with hypotheses and test them in the field. It's fun to me. And, I want to get better, and I want to make you guys better. And I think that's freaking awesome to do that. But everybody's had some type of paranormal experiences, and in the ones I've had, I'm telling you what, they're crazy. I got time to talk about them real quick, but before we do, I'm going to do another quick video promo real quick. I'll do the Deadlight one and maybe another one. But if you need to go use the bathroom and get a drink real quick, do so, and meet me back here in the next minute or two.
actually in the refrigeration room one night when they were doing an investigation, and whatever spirit was in there really got a hold of this guy and just drained his energy. And it was one of my first times really seeing this type of thing. And I had got to the point that it wasn't fun for me no more. I was actually scared.
Can you give us an audible sign that you're here? Can you speak? Can you make a noise?
Right there.
Totally, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Play that again.
Dude, that gives me chills.
Mr. Adams, if you are here in spirit, and if you're observing us right now, we come with the greatest amount of respect possible for you and your home and your family. As far as I'm concerned, we are your friends and we are sympathizers to everything that you've gone through. If you can give us some indication or sign of your presence while we're here tonight, I have to be honest, that would be both exciting and exhilarating. Above all, if there's anybody here that would like to linger on or, look over the place, it would be George W. Adams.
All right, guys, welcome back. Keep in mind, like, some of these video promos that you're seeing, they are outdated. So, like, this Christmas one you just now seen, that is available on the YouTube channel if you are interested in watching that. So, I apologize for having outdated promos. Hearing someone knock on my door. Linda says, have not been there, but so want to go. Yeah, it is, if you're talking about Prospect Place, it is freaking cool. It's very cool. But let's hear about some. Let's hear about if you guys have captured anything on an infrared or not infrared thermal camera that you think is paranormal. Let me know, and if you have footage of it, we'll take a look at it on the show. I think that would really be cool to check out. Oh boy, this thing is really irritating me. Let's see if I can get that shadow off there. I don't think I'm going to. This light coming through my window, I think, is messing with it. We'll have to deal with it. But if you have any clips or any footage of from a thermal imaging camera that you would like me to take a look at, we can take a look at it on the show, and I can analyze it real quick, and we can see what the viewers think of it. But I haven't seen too many pieces of footage that have been either super convincing or compelling. It's one of those things where you just kind of had to be there, unless you had a video that was completely unedited and you had a really super wide shot of it forming with everybody in the environment. I think that's important. But if you've had any experiences, I would like to hear about them. Especially if it comes to temperature, since that's kind of on topic. If you felt any cold spots, any raises in temperature that you thought was paranormal, I would be interested in hearing about that. And any questions about the topic of this show that you would like me to answer, or any other device or anything else concerning the paranormal, let me know. This is a time for you guys to chat me up. I am all ears. Don't let me have any dead air time. Ask me a question. I wonder if Josh Bender's still watching. Joe Vitelli says, I have on my YouTube channel me running the Seek and video camera going with a REM pod going off. Got nothing on video or with the Seek. Okay, let me read again. I have on my YouTube channel me running the Seek and video camera going with a REM pod going off. Got nothing on video or with the Seek. So you have a REM pod going off, but you didn't have any temperature anomaly happening. Is that what you're saying, Joe? I think that's my understanding of your comment. Which would be normal, because even if there wasn't a temperature anomaly there, you wouldn't see it unless it was on a surface. Now, something could touch the REM pod too. So that's cool that you had it pointed at the REM pod. Yes, sir. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I'm still here, brother. All right, Josh. Are you working on lights, Josh? Are you watching my show, listening to it in the background while you build your lights? Is Jess listening in the other room? Is she wanting to hear me say we crossed the streams again? But if you have any questions about any other equipment, I would love to answer. If you have any experiences you would like to share on the show, I would love to hear about it. Again, I will plug my website and our YouTube channel. Definitely check out www.interfacedeath.net. Subscribe to the mailing list so you can get all of our updates. There's videos on there. There's detailed descriptions of our biographies, of how we conduct our research, what gear we use. There's a contact page, all kinds of cool stuff. There's links to radio shows that we've been on, all kinds of stuff. So I would love it if you guys go check out the website. We spend a lot of money and time on that. Josh says, I'm eating first. That's a big, huge surprise. I've gotten pareidolia with it a lot. Yeah. Good thing you brought that up, Derek, because I forgot to mention this. The infrared, or thermal imager, it reflects really bad. If you have a window, a mirror, or even a shiny reflective surface, you're going to see a reflection on it like it's a mirror. Okay, and you're going to see a heat signature in something, and since you can't really see what it's looking at, you can't tell if it's a reflective surface. It's just going to look like you're seeing a heat signature right there where you're seeing it. So that's a huge problem with the thermal imagers. You're going to see reflections out the yin-yang with the thing, and you really got to be cognitive and aware of all those things when you're using the thermal imager. So I'm glad that you brought that up. I know I've been on investigations with Derek Schreiner using his thermal imager, and you will see something and you're trying okay, what's that? You're trying to make it out, and sometimes it just proves to be a lot harder to try to figure out what things are when you could just use something that's just a lot better. And usually it's, your eyes and your ears are the best tools to use. If you're not seeing anything and hearing stuff, but you're getting on all these devices, you're going to have to ask why you're not seeing it and hearing it. I mean, if you see a big temperature anomaly but don't feel it, that would be weird. Why you would have to ask yourself why. What is interesting about thermal imagers is if you get a really cold sensation on your arm, that would be a cool way to use it. If you have the thermal imager out, you could place it on the body part that you feel the temperature change. RJ Murphy is, I've all but stopped using mine. I gotta go. Bye. So, see you, Beth. Thanks for dropping by. Nice to chat with you. Why did you stop using yours, RJ? Let us know why. Is it the same reason that we're talking about? A different reason? Let us know. I'm curious about why. And let me know if other people watching have stopped using their thermal imager or still use it or have never had one and are thinking about using it. Because if you are thinking about using it and you haven't used it, I'm glad that you're watching this show because it is still useful. I just want you to use it for the right reasons. Yep, same reason? Okay. RJ knows. He's not green around the edges. He's been there and done that. Yeah, guys. It's awesome. I got 9-10 people in here right now. It's really cool that you guys have stopped by to talk to me about this subject. Do you guys like this show? Let me know if this is the first time you've seen this show. If you've seen it last week, do you think I should keep going with this? Do you share this video? Do you think it's educational? All those questions, let me know an answer to because I'd really like to know. Joe says I use it from time to time, just more crap to keep up with. It is. The more pieces of gear you add to your investigation, the more complex it can, the more independent variables you'll add to your experiments, and the harder your research will become. That is true. I know Derek Schreiner was trying to fit an iPad with his Seek Thermal onto the handheld rigs we use, and that was a pain in the butt. Josh Bender says, I found that most haunted locations have leaky windows and doors with thermal camera. That is true. You're going to find all the uninsulated and leaky places in the whole place. And even if you get like a high EMF readings from the electrical circuits, you will see those components and circuits giving off a lot of heat a lot of the time. Linda says, my first time for this show. Well, thank you for joining me, Linda. I'm going to try to do this every week. I did a show on my blog page last week, and I just get up on my little soapbox and I preach and I rant and I rave, but I try to be nice. Lonnie Tozer, first time I'm going to start watching, though. Thanks, Lonnie. It's nice to chat with you, and I'm glad that you still have interest in learning and talking about the paranormal as much as I do. I know you're pretty obsessed with it like I am. Josh says, I like the show. I keep learning. Joe says, keep the show going every week. All right. So I have to keep it going every week because Joe said. It's said and done now. There is plenty of material to talk about. That is going to piss a lot of people off. I've pissed people off just by telling them that the expensive gear that they use is not good. And I'm sorry, but I can't help it. I can't stay silenced. I have to talk about it. I have to air it out and just let everybody know what I think about it, because I think that's healthy. I think that it's going to do good for the paranormal field, especially if you're right. And you will not hear me talk about things unless I think I'm right. Okay? If I just want to, I won't just do it just to piss people off or to start an argument. Linda says, Terry says the thermal is too expensive for no more than what it does. It is not cheap. Even the Seek Thermal that you plug into your phones, you can get a used one for $50 or maybe even less if you're lucky. But I think brand new out of the box a couple years ago, there were 200 or 150. And that's still not the cheapest thing in the world. But it's cool tech. You know, it lets you see in a totally different way, and it looks cool when you watch it on the TV shows, and when you're using it, you're like, wow, look, I'm doing science and stuff like that. So that's the appealing part of it, right? That's why, you know, nerds and techie guys fall in love with it, because it's cool. But outside of that, it's not as helpful as a lot of people think it is, and I just wanted to bring it up on the show. But we'll end it there unless you guys have any questions. I'll wait another 30 seconds or so. If you guys have any more questions or anything else you'd like to talk about, I'll have a couple more promos that people that's watching this may or may have not already seen before. But just to let you know, I got some content on the YouTube channel and the website that you guys can go watch if you like that sort of thing. And we'll end it there. But before we do, I want to talk about our Patreon program. If you like what you hear and you see in this video, if you like what we do, what I do, and what Interface Death does, and all the people affiliated with Interface Death, I affiliate myself with other research teams. It's not just Justin. It's not just Interface Death. It's a network and a community of people. But if you want to support us, you can with your wallet. You can support us on Patreon. And what Patreon is, it's kind of like a crowdsourcing, but you can actually donate, like say $1 a month. That's all I ask for, $1 a month, and you can get put into a exclusive Facebook group that lets you get access to exclusive content, behind the scenes stuff, invites to investigations and ghost hunts, all kinds of stuff like that. And you get shouted out during my live streams, like so. Matt Benton, Clay Borman, and Matthew Jackson have been Patreons all of this year, and if it hadn't been for their support, I probably wouldn't be doing this. It costs money, it costs time and effort to do this, and without their support, I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing today. So we have a lot of research that we're doing that costs a lot of money. I mean, real scientific research. We got the cloud chamber that's still being developed. That's cost Derek Schreiner and Missy all kinds of money already. Any money that you could support for that cause, for production costs of the videos, for any other of our experiments, travel costs, so on and so forth. If you guys have been there and done it, you know it costs money. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/support interface death. The link for that is not in this video, but I'll give you the link for it real quick. But you'll get shouted out in my videos, and then I'll kiss your butt the whole time. But that's just me showing, my appreciation for it. If you guys are interested in the Patreon, the link is now in the comments. So Linda says we agree and we'll keep listening. I love the Willoughbys. They're great people. I miss you guys, so I wanted to hopefully meet up with you, like, Monroe House or somewhere, but I just haven't got the chance to yet. Lonnie Toner says, and that equipment is not cheap. It's not, Lonnie, it's not. But I'll leave it there, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. I like doing the show. I like learning and teaching. Tune in next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. I don't know what the topic... Well, I think I do, but I don't want to advertise it yet. I want to leave it as a surprise. But it'll be a very hot item that a lot of people use in the paranormal field. So we'll talk about something different next week. Stick around for a couple more video promos. Check us out on interfacedeath.net. Check out Deadlight on Facebook. Deadlight LLC. Check us out on YouTube. I will see you later. You are in our hearts, and we love you very much. You guys have a good one. Stick around.
How long have you been associated with the school?
We got the school in March of 2017.